Hey, Pastor Ray Barnett here, and I'm glad that you could be with me here on the Oasis. And as always, I wish you a good morning, good afternoon, or a good evening, depending on what time you're watching this broadcast. I think I'm going to hide this little bug of mine here. It's not a distraction for you. Hey, you know what? I know I say this all the time, but it's a really beautiful day here in upstate New York again. I said to you yesterday, maybe the day before, that if you mention to someone from out of state, another state, about New York, so I live in New York, they automatically think of New York City. But so many people don't know how beautiful this state really, really is. Of course, it's being run by maniacs, but it's a beautiful, beautiful state. Beautiful, beautiful weather. Now, today I want to share with you something a little bit different, and especially for those of you who have been watching for some time, and so many of you have shared with me how much you get out of these broadcasts and how much you enjoy them and how much they've helped, and that's why I'm here. I've always told you I'm not here for the subscribership, even though we're getting new subscribers just about every day right now. But that's not my aim. My aim is to help people. I already have, and I've had in the years past more exposure than than I anticipated. So I'm not looking for that. I'm looking to help people. So today I was talking to a friend of mine who just turned into the Oasis for the first time yesterday. Wrote me a little note how much he enjoyed it, and I saw him today, and he was just sharing with me that he enjoyed the broadcast, and that he was thinking, hey, I could share this with a friend of mine. I think he's going through some depression or something. And that gave me a thought for this broadcast, because it's something I don't do much, and I'm not even sure in the 300 plus videos that I've done that I've shared it at all. So I want to talk to you about sharing. So many of you, again, you've been helped by these broadcasts. You've found relief. You're making progress. You write to me. You write comments. All of these things, and that's a great thing. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to help you. But one thing I've neglected, and I've just came to me when I was talking to my friend today, is sharing these broadcasts with other people. Again, just to be clear, I'm not ambitious. I'm really not. I'm not looking to say, oh, look at this this YouTube broadcast. I mean, if that were the case right now, I'd be pretty much an abject failure. But you always keep in mind that the small group that we have is an advantage for all of you subscribed, and the reason being is that we can keep in touch with each other. But what I'm going to ask you to do is to begin to share these broadcasts. As you know, 2.5 years ago when I started the Oasis, I had a different name for it back then, but I did it, and it coincided with the pandemic, the COVID pandemic in 2020. And that wasn't why I started the broadcast. It just happened to be providential that when I started the broadcast, the pandemic had hit. And as you know, many people are still suffering from depression and anxiety, and again, I could throw in the world events, which is not my topic here. And there's quite a lot of people that are experiencing anxiety and depression. If not for the first time, they're experiencing it in a different way. You know, people are just down, and people are frightened, and they're angry, and they're fearful, and all of this. And I thought it would be a good idea to ask you to start to share these broadcasts with others. Meaning, you know, right there on your, next to the button, you have subscribe, you have the like button, you have the notification bell, but there's also a little arrow to share. And I'm going to ask you to start to share these broadcasts with somebody or a number of people that you think can be helped by them. Now, they may or may not respond. They might not find anything here that they consider to be of value. They may not subscribe, but that's not really, well, it's not important to me. I'm just looking for people that I can help in this area of anxiety, depression, mental health issues, and so forth. And as you know, I try to pick a spot where it's calm, and so you have 15, maybe 20 minutes of a break from life with the exhortation and the instructions that go with them. So I'm going to ask you to start to make it a habit. For those of you who, and I know some of you watch diligently, you watch every day, you're again enthused and you've been helped by these broadcasts. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is to start to share them with other people. Somebody comes to mind, just share it. And just say, you know, I thought maybe this would be of interest to you, or the broadcast, the Oasis broadcast would be of interest to you. And I think you're going to find that there's going to be quite a few people who are going to take you up on the offer and watch the broadcasts. One thing that has to be kept in mind is that I'm not repeating a lot of things that I've covered in the last 2.5 years about the physiology of anxiety and some of the psychodynamics of depression and other things. But there's a lot of videos here that I think could help people. And really, it's not so much what I think could help people, but now it's really up to you. It's up to you to decide, yeah, I think this could help so-and-so or so-and-so. And again, I remind you, they may, like, you know, on our email list every so often, I came across one the other day that was from several years ago. Please take me off this email list, which I accommodate people. I don't wonder why they want to be taken off our church email list. I don't question them. I just say, yeah, no problem, and they're off. And you may find that happens to you. I had one lady, she was kind of irate about it. She had it in caps, take me off this email list, which really all those emails are just, you know, announcing the message coming up for Sunday or whatever. But one was for my devotions, my daily devotions, which you can sign up for that too if you're interested. Just go to the website, you'll see devotions. You can put in your name, your email address, and on a daily basis they'll be in your inbox. My devotions I wrote several years ago that covers about almost a year worth of biblical studies from the entire Bible. Anyway, you know, when people don't want to watch, that's fine. I mean, you know, people have a right to make their own choice. But I think that there's a lot of people that can benefit from these broadcasts besides just yourself. So I want you to start to just share with people. And if there's a good response, they can subscribe and they can comment on the broadcast below, because I get a lot of feedback, good feedback, from people who I know watch on a regular basis, who are saying how, you know, they find these things, these broadcasts, these teachings, these exhortations so helpful. So again, I'm going to ask you to start to make it a habit to share the broadcast with people. And again, if that's not what they're looking for, they just don't like it, well, that's fine. But at least you made the attempt. You see, because there's an old saying, and it goes this way: teach once, learn twice. Now, I know as a teacher, and I've been a teacher for 45 years, I mean a preacher, but Bible teacher, that I learn more from my messages and my teachings than the people do. And the reason is because I have to prepare and study for my subjects, and then when I'm relating those subjects, you know, I'm learning. I've had instances where, you know, I'm preaching and something comes into my mind and I find myself saying it and it'll strike me and say, wow, that's pretty good, because I didn't even expect to have that come out of my mouth. You'll find the same type of experience if you begin to share this broadcast with others, and not just the broadcast, but your own experiences with, you know, struggling with anxiety, depression, and so on. You're going to find that it's going to be helpful to other people. You're going to find that you're going to learn twice as much as they're learning, because you're sharing this broadcast, you're sharing your experience, you're sharing the things that you've learned with other people, and it's going to reinforce what you already know, but it's going to be more solidified. So by sharing the broadcast, and if occasion arises, you have opportunity to speak about what you've learned and all that, it's going to help you, and then at the same time you're helping other people. And there's plenty, believe me, because I run into them all the time. They don't even know that I do this broadcast. They don't know that this is one of my areas of expertise: anxiety, depression, mental health issues. And just talking to them, just is a help. So yesterday I was talking to you about training. You have to be able to put these lessons that you've learned to practice for yourself. Now, as part of your training, I'm going to ask you to get into the habit of sharing them. And I'll say it one more time: I'm not ambitious. I'm not looking for subscribers. I'm certainly glad when we get them, and we've had, I don't know, a few in the last week or so, almost on a daily basis now. But that's not what I'm all about. I'm not trying to make myself popular or become another one of these YouTube superstars. I'm just trying to help people. And I say that it was an act of providence that I started them right when the COVID pandemic hit. I think that was certainly led of the Lord. So would you do that? Would you start to share these broadcasts with other people? Let them know there's over 300 videos about this subject of anxiety and depression, and that they can take their time going back into videos that are sometimes 15, 20, some of them ran almost a half an hour. I try to keep them as brief as possible so that I don't lose the audience that I have and don't bore you to death. But again, we all need this time to just take a break and hear some sanity, or gain some sanity out of this crazy, chaotic world we're living in. And I think by you sharing the broadcasts, that would be a great help for them as well as for you. Remember this saying, and it's an old one: teach once, learn twice. So the more that you can share what you've learned with others, the more it's going to help you, and then obviously it's going to help other people as well. So if you're watching today and you're struggling with anxiety and depression, this is your very first time watching, I would encourage you to subscribe, because I'm going to stay with this as long as God permits. And always hit the notification button so you know when these videos go up, even though they usually go up the same time every day, just about. And for the rest of you who are already subscribed, share them. Share them on your Instagram account. Share them on your Facebook account. Share them in an email, a text message, whatever. Because, I consider myself, like, if this was an army, I consider myself like the medic, That's my job. That's how I look at myself, kind of a utility man in this great struggle that we're in our country and in the world. And I'd like you to be part of that team to help others who are definitely struggling. And remember that I told you that many people are not open to talk about their anxieties, their panic attacks, their depressions. They're not, this is something that we talked about, the stigma. They're not willing to talk about it, and understandably so. But you could be an aid to people, your friends, your family, or just whoever. Like I said, you could post them on your Facebook page, your Instagram page, or Twitter if you use Twitter, TikTok, or whatever you use. And the object here, the goal here is to help other people, to help people who are really struggling with the same things that you struggle with. So would you do that? Would you start to make it a habit to share them? And be prepared for rejection. Be prepared for people to say, how dare you share this with me, Well, if you were in my line of work as a preacher, you get that pretty often, and just kind of shrug it off and say, hey, okay, yeah, I don't have to talk about it. I won't mention it. All right, so that's my assignment for you today. This is given especially to the people who have already been subscribed, and particularly for those of you who have been subscribed for some time. Let's take a moment now, or let me take a moment now to pray, not just for you, but for the many, many others, and there's millions, that are struggling with these issues that we cover here on just about a daily basis with anxiety and depression, and ask for Christ's help. Father, I do pray not only for those who subscribe, who I pray for regularly, but I pray for those who are out there who don't even know this broadcast exists and can use the exhortation, the relaxation, and also the instruction that's given on it. Touch all. Bring in those souls that need the help. And I ask that in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, that's all I have for you for today. Just a kind of a, let's do this. Let's help other people out. So share the broadcast. If you're watching today, I would encourage you to subscribe, hit the notification button as I just mentioned. The thumbs up is kind of a way of just staying on the, I don't get discouraged if I do, get so many, I don't even get that many views according to the metrics on YouTube. 25, 30, on a good day maybe 40, and you get a couple of thumbs up. But again, that's not me. I'm not looking for that. The thumbs up is just a way to keep us on the radar. So subscribe, hit the notification button, and also a thumbs up would help us to keep us on the radar. Now, today I got a new little friend here, a new what do you call it, remote, and so far so good. It's been doing its job. So we'll see right now if it's going to do its job, and I don't have to stick my face in the camera to turn it off. All right, so that's your assignment. Share the broadcasts, share the message, share the peace of Christ. And I do pray, I truly do, that Christ would give you his peace in this crazy world until we meet again. Lord willing, I'll be with you here again tomorrow on the Oasis, and God will have something for me to share with you. All right? God bless. And with his help and his grace and his aid, I'll see you right here again tomorrow on the Oasis. God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow.